Rudy Giuliani has been hit with ethics charges over baseless claims he made about the 2020 presidential election being stolen while serving as an attorney for Donald Trump. The charges were filed on Friday by the District of Columbia office that polices attorneys for ethical misconduct. The D.C. Office of Disciplinary Counsel alleges that Giuliani, who is a member of the D.C. Bar, made baseless claims in federal court filings about the results of the 2020 presidential election in Pennsylvania. The charges were filed with the District of Columbia Court of Appeals Board on professional responsibility. A lawyer for Giuliani did not have an immediate comment. The charges come a day after the U.S. House Select Committee investigating the January 6 Capitol attack had its first primetime hearing, in which it outlined evidence that Trump and his allies sought to overturn the 2020 election and incite throngs of his supporters to block Congress from certifying Joe Biden's victory. Giuliani, a former U.S. attorney in Manhattan and New York City mayor, has been among Trump's most fervent supporters and repeatedly claimed without evidence that the election had been stolen. The complaint says Giuliani sought an emergency order to prohibit the certification of the presidential election, an order to invalidate ballots cast by certain voters in 7 counties, and other orders that would have permitted the state's assembly to choose its electors and declare Trump the winner in Pennsylvania. The charges say his conduct violated 2 professional conduct rules in Pennsylvania that bar attorneys from bringing frivolous proceedings without a basis in law or fact and prohibit conduct that is prejudicial to the administration of justice. Charges can lead to the suspension of a license to practice law or disbarment. The charges mark the second time that a bar office has taken action against Giuliani. His New York law license was suspended in June 2021 after a state appeals court found that he made demonstrably false and misleading statements that widespread voter fraud undermined the election. Apart from having 2 of his law licenses suspended, Giuliani's reputation has been stained by his dealings with Ukraine, and he is being investigated by Manhattan federal prosecutors over those business ties. He began representing Trump, a fellow Republican and New Yorker, in April 2018 in connection with Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation that documented Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Giuliani has not been charged with criminal wrongdoing. His lawyer has said the federal investigation is politically motivated. Rudy Giuliani was hit with an ethics charge by the Washington, D.C. Office of Disciplinary Counsel on Friday over his promotion of baseless claims about fraud in the 2020 presidential election before a federal court in Pennsylvania, jeopardizing his ability to practice law in the city. The D.C. Bar's disciplinary arm said that he had violated the Pennsylvania rules of professional conduct by bringing a proceeding and asserting issues therein without a non-frivolous basis in law and fact for doing so, and engaging in conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, according to the filing. The complaint said that Giuliani provided insufficient sourcing to prove his allegations that election fraud had taken place in Pennsylvania. Giuliani further justified his allegations of fraud against the defendant counties in the case by promising the district court that statistical analysis will evidence that over 70,000 mail and other mail ballots which favor President Biden were improperly counted, but respondent should have known the evidence he provided relied upon false or faulty statistics and analysis, the complaint read. The former New York City mayor also claimed he had 300 statements and affidavits that would have provided proof of said fraud taking place in the state, according to the filing. But the complaint said that the affidavits, declarations, and statements that he provided to the district court and other bodies were a. unsupported, b. unrelated to former President Trump voters, c. involve conduct outside the 7 defendant counties, and d. by their own terms were isolated incidents that could not have affected the presidential election's results by offsetting the Biden majority of over 80,000 votes. Giuliani was admitted to the D.C. Bar in 1976, but in 2002, his status became inactive. Last year, the New York Supreme Court's Appellate Division suspended his law license in that state. The Hill has reached out to Giuliani and a lawyer for Giuliani for comment.